takes us along the long, winding path of the Nile, as it stretches beneath the vast, star-dusted canvas of the ancient Egyptian sky. Imagine, if you will, that the air around you is warm, not oppressively so, but with a gentle, caressing warmth. It carries the faint, sweet, and earthy scent of river reeds swaying in the darkness, mingled with the distant, almost ethereal fragrance of lotus blossoms that have closed their petals for the night. The long day, with its vibrant sun and bustling activities, is drawing to a definitive close, and we find ourselves aboard a simple yet eminently sturdy vessel. Perhaps it is a felucca, with its characteristic tall, triangular sail, now neatly furled, or maybe a slightly larger, more substantial wooden barge. Its ancient planks worn smooth and dark by the passage of immeasurable time and countless similar voyages. This is the kind of boat that has known the river for many generations, a silent witness to the unchanging rhythms of its flow. The sun, which earlier blazed as a great orb of burnished molten gold, is now completing its slow, graceful descent towards the western horizon. As it dips lower, it paints the expansive sky in a breathtaking palette of the softest hues: delicate apricot, tender rose, and deep, soothing violet. The smooth, almost glass-like surface of the Nile mirrors this celestial display with remarkable fidelity, shimmering with a gentle liquid light, a perfect reflection of the beauty above. There is a profound and palpable peace in this moment, a timeless ancient rhythm that has flowed in harmony with these sacred waters for uncounted millennia. The worries of the day seem to dissolve in this tranquil atmosphere, replaced by a sense of calm and quiet anticipation for the unfolding night. The boat glides, almost silently, its passage barely disturbing the water's surface. It is propelled primarily by the gentle, insistent current, and, from time to time, by the soft, rhythmic dip of a long steering oar at the stern. This oar is guided by a seasoned boatman, a figure of quiet competence, whose movements are economical, practiced, and entirely unhurried. He has the deeply etched look of someone who knows the river's every mood, every subtle whisper, every hidden sandbank, and every gentle eddy. His skin is weathered, a rich brown, kissed by countless suns and touched by the dry desert wind. His eyes, when they catch the faint light, hold the calm, reflective wisdom of the water itself. He doesn't speak much, preferring the language of the river, but his very presence is a silent, reassuring one, a steady anchor in the fading light. We are moving slowly southward, upstream against the main flow of the Nile. But the current in this particular stretch is kind, a steady, unhurried assistance rather than a challenge. The air, which held the day's warmth, is beginning to cool ever so slightly, as the last brilliant sliver of the sun finally dips below the distant line of the horizon. The western sky, however, holds on to the light for a while longer. A lingering, tender blush of color against the deepening indigo canvas that is slowly unfurling from the east, bringing with it the promise of stars. Along the gradually darkening riverbanks, the myriad activities of the day are perceptibly winding down. You can still clearly distinguish the dark, incredibly fertile strip of land running parallel to the water. This is the Kemet, the precious black land, so named for the rich, dark silt deposited by the annual, life-giving inundation of the Nile. This miraculous silt is the very foundation of Egypt's ancient prosperity, the source of its enduring strength. Beyond this narrow ribbon of fertility, the vast, pale, and sandy expanse of the Deshret, the Red Land, the boundless desert, already seems to be absorbing the deepening shadows of the approaching evening, its features softening into an indistinct, mysterious landscape. Small villages, like scattered collections of earthy jewels, dot the landscape along the river's edge. They are composed of clusters of simple, functional, mud brick homes. These bricks, formed from the Nile's own mud and baked hard under the relentless sun, possess the remarkable quality of keeping the dwellings cool during the intense heat of the day, while retaining a gentle, comforting warmth as the evening air begins to cool. Smoke, pale grey, and carrying the faint, evocative scent of cooking fires, perhaps fueled by dried animal dung, a common and practical resource, curls lazily and almost vertically upwards from the flat roofs of some of the homes. It appears as a soft, ethereal ribbon against the muted tapestry of the twilight sky. The distant sound of human voices, perhaps a mother calling her children, or the clear, bright sound of a child's unrestrained laugh, or even the contented lowing of cattle being carefully brought into their protective enclosures for the night, drifts softly across the water. These sounds are softened by the intervening distance, becoming not jarring intrusions, but rather integral, harmonious notes in the river's gentle, unfolding symphony of the evening. The boatman, with a barely perceptible shift of his weight and a slight adjustment of the large steering oar, keeps the vessel true in the main channel. He expertly navigates away from the shallower edges of the river, where the iconic papyrus reeds grow in dense, almost impenetrable thickets, their feathery tops reaching high towards the sky. These reeds, a vibrant, almost luminous green that seems to hold the last of the daylight, are a miniature world unto themselves. You can hear the delicate, dry rustle of their feathery tops as they brush against each other in the slight evening breeze, a sound like soft, hushed whispers sharing ancient, forgotten secrets of the river. Small river birds, perhaps brightly colored kingfishers, searching for a final morsel, or elegant white egrets, dart in and out of the protective cover of the reeds, finding their roosts and settling down for the approaching night. Their occasional sharp, brief cries are quickly absorbed by the vastness of the surrounding landscape, momentary accents in the growing stillness. Imagine, for a moment, the feel of the worn wooden deck beneath you. It would be slightly cool to the touch now, a pleasant contrast to the lingering warmth of the air. You might find yourself leaning comfortably against a soft pile of coarse linen sacks. These sacks, you can imagine, are filled with precious cargo, perhaps barley, destined for bread and the brewing of nourishing beer, or emmer wheat, another staple grain. The faint, dry, earthy scent of the grain is subtle, yet deeply comforting, a reminder of the land's bounty. Perhaps there are also several large amphorae, those tall, gracefully curved clay jars, carefully secured with ropes to prevent them from shifting. They might contain local wine, rich and dark, or fragrant olive oil, their rounded shapes casting long, soft, deepening shadows in the dimming light that still lingers on the water. Life on the Nile, in this ancient time, is a constant, gentle, and vital flow of essential goods and people. This magnificent river is far more than just a body of water. It is the primary highway, the bustling marketplace, the spiritual center, and the ultimate source of all life and sustenance. For untold thousands of years, boats almost identical to this one have diligently plied these waters, carrying the diverse bounty of the fertile land, connecting disparate communities from Nubia in the south to the vast delta in the north, and bearing silent witness to the majestic rise and inevitable fall of powerful dynasties. Yet through all these epic changes, the river itself remains, eternal, ever-flowing, an ever-present, life-giving force. The very first stars are now beginning to prick the deepening velvet fabric of the night sky. They appear with a delicate shyness at first, one by one, then in small, hesitant clusters, until finally the entire heavens are strewn with countless, glittering pinpricks of distant, silvery light. the ancient Egyptians were extraordinarily keen observers of these celestial bodies. They saw in the patterns of the stars profound stories, divine messages, and a reliable means of divining the steady passage of time, and, they believed, the very will of their numerous gods. The constellation that we recognize today as Orion, the hunter, was known to them as Sa, representing the god Osiris, a powerful celestial reminder of themes of death, resurrection, and the promise of the afterlife. And the Milky Way, that great, shimmering river of light that stretches across the immensity of the dark sky, was seen as a celestial counterpart to their own beloved Nile, a divine reflection of the life-giving waters below. As true, deep darkness finally settles completely over the land and the river. The Nile takes on an entirely different character, a new persona. The water, now a dark, intensely glossy, and almost obsidian surface, reflects the multitude of stars with such astonishing clarity and precision that it feels as though you are not merely drifting on water, but suspended in the vastness of space itself, cradled gently between two equally brilliant, starry firmaments. The banks of the river, which were distinct in daylight, are now mostly transformed into dark, soft silhouettes, their details obscured. They are punctuated here and there, very sparsely, by the faint, flickering, warm, orange glow of a small oil lamp burning in a distant house, or perhaps the even smaller, more isolated gleam of a watchman's dutiful fire, keeping a lonely vigil through the night. The specific sounds of the night now begin to emerge with greater clarity and prominence, no longer masked by the activities of the day. The gentle, rhythmic lapping of water against the wooden hull of the boat is a constant, deeply soothing presence, a natural lullaby continuously sung by the ancient river. From the dense, unseen reed beds along the banks, you might clearly hear the soft, intermittent croaking of countless frogs, a nightly chorus that has undoubtedly sung its amphibious serenade through uncounted Egyptian nights, a sound as old as the Nile itself. Occasionally, the distant, sharp bark of a domestic dog from a nearby village, or the more eerie, drawn-out, mournful cry of a wild jackal venturing from the desert edge, momentarily breaks the profound stillness. But these sounds are distant, like echoes from another world, serving only as gentle reminders of the wider, untamed world that exists beyond your peaceful, cocooning vessel, rather than as jarring disturbances to your tranquility. The boatman, a figure of quiet concentration, might now light a small, carefully shielded oil lamp positioned near the stern of the boat. Its single flickering flame casts a warm, gentle, and intimate glow upon his weathered face and his strong, capable hands as he calmly continues to tend to his task, guiding the vessel with practiced ease. The lamp itself is a simple, utilitarian object, likely made of humble baked clay, with a thick flaxen wick floating in a small reservoir of fragrant, perhaps castor, oil. It doesn't illuminate much of the surroundings, just a small, comforting circle of warmth and light in the midst of the vast, cool, enveloping darkness. This small light is a profound comfort, a tiny, hopeful beacon in the overwhelming immensity and stillness of the Egyptian night. Consider for a moment the people, the ordinary Egyptians, who lived their entire lives along these very banks, thousands upon thousands of years ago. Their existence was so profoundly, so inextricably, tied to this singular, magnificent river. They typically rose with the first light of the sun, worked diligently in the fertile fields that were nourished by its life-giving waters and silt, drew their daily drinking water directly from its banks, fished for sustenance in its mysterious depths, and traveled extensively upon its broad, accommodating surface. The Nile was, in a very real sense, a powerful deity to them. The god Hapi,
the divine bringer of fertility, abundance, and prosperity. They deeply understood its complex rhythms, they respected its immense and sometimes destructive power, and they lived in a kind of profound, unspoken symbiosis with it. Their most fervent prayers and carefully prepared offerings were regularly made to ensure the timely arrival and appropriate height of the annual flood, the great inundation that brought forth the precious, life-giving black silt. Without this annual miracle, there would be no bountiful harvest, no sustenance, and ultimately, no life as they knew it. Our boat continues its gentle, almost imperceptible, unhurried passage through the night. Perhaps a small, simple refreshment is shared amongst those on board. Maybe a sweet, sun-ripened fig, its skin soft and yielding, or a few sticky, energy-giving dates, plucked from a nearby palm tree earlier that day. The taste of such simple, natural fare is incredibly pure and deeply satisfying in the cool, fresh night air. The boatman, his duties light for the moment, might begin to hum a low, almost tuneless song, a simple, repetitive melody that feels as old as the river itself. It's a sound that seems to blend seamlessly with the soft lapping of the water against the hull and the almost inaudible whisper of the night breeze through the unseen rigging. Imagine the humble homes you passed as twilight was fading, now completely quiet and shrouded in darkness. Inside those mud brick walls, families are deeply asleep, resting on simple woven reed mats spread upon the earthen floors, or perhaps on low, unadorned wooden beds. Their dreams, if we could glimpse them, are perhaps of the coming harvest, of the health and well-being of their family members, or of the benevolent gods and goddesses who they believe watch over them and protect their land. Their lives, while undeniably different in so many practical and technological ways from our own, were nevertheless filled with the same fundamental human experiences and emotions.